It's the Rotary Club's fault that I'm in politics. And, yeah, I should explain how that happened. When I was a high school student in Winnipeg, which is where I grew up, so I'm a Winnipeg Jets fan. I'm only interested in the Bruins ticket if they're playing the Jets that night. The Rotary Club of Fort Garry, which is the suburb of Winnipeg that I grew up in, was offering a trip to Ottawa for a deserving high school student in a program that was called Adventures in Citizenship. And I understand that this is a program that is still offered through the Rotary Clubs, because I spoke last year to a joint meeting of the Annapolis Valley Rotary Clubs, a great event. There were over 100 people in the room. There were 4 or 5 clubs that got together, and I told them this then, and they said, yeah, that's something we're still doing, and I understand that's something this club has participated in the past. And this, for a kid from Winnipeg, it was something incredible, not just to see Ottawa, which the first time you see it is a pretty impressive city, and the Parliament buildings and Parliament Hill and being in the House of Commons. It's a pretty impressive thing for a kid from the prairies. But even more than that was the first opportunity I'd ever had in my life to be with other Canadian young men and young women from every part of the country, all getting together and realizing what a fabulous country we live in, and talking to young men and young women from right from one end of the country together and from the territories. I'd never met people from some of these places before, and it was just an awesome experience, and I have the Rotary Club to thank for that. And although that may not have caused me to offer for public office, it certainly didn't hurt, because it was such a fantastic experience. Now, I don't know if my colleagues have other stories about what got them into politics, but I did want to make sure you knew that I'm joined here today by 3 of my colleagues in the legislature. Gary Ramey, the MLA for Lunenburg West. Say hi, Gary. And beside him, Vicki Conrad, the MLA for Queens. And although her riding is called Queens, she actually represents a little corner of Lunenburg County as well. And finally, Pam Birdsall, the MLA for Lunenburg. Usually they just want to attend to make sure I don't say anything wrong and that they'll have to defend later. But thank you very much, guys, for coming along. And also Don Down. Don, of course, as a former finance minister, was kind enough to offer me a few words of advice. He'll modestly say he didn't do that, but he was very kind to chat with me at some length after I became finance minister to talk about his experience. And frankly, it was really useful to me. He's a very smart, capable guy, and I think you're all very lucky to have him in public office here in Lunenburg County. So thank you for coming tonight, John. So really I'm only here to for one purpose. I'm currently in the middle of a tour around the province. It's a pre-budget consultation tour. We call it the Back to Balance tour, because that's really what we've undertaken as a government, as your government, in order to restore some sense to the province's books. Say, the province's books need to be in balance, but there's more than one way of doing that. There's more than one way of getting there. And as Don and I were talking about earlier, one of the difficulties that we have in this province is that people's expectations of public services are up here, and their willingness to actually pay for it is down here. It's like walking into a McDonald's and you order a Big Mac and you put enough money on the counter for a cheeseburger. They're not going to sell you the Big Mac, right? They're going to say either you give us enough money for the Big Mac, or you just take the cheeseburger that you have enough money for. And it's exactly the same thing, frankly, with public services. But there's not just one way to get back to balance. Maybe the answer is to deliver those high-level, high-quality public services. But if that's the case, then I would say to you, all right, then we need to have a serious talk about how to pay for it. Or maybe you say, no, we want our government to be small. We want our taxes to be down here. And I say, great, that's fine. We can have taxes down there as long as we understand what the implications are for public services. Or the balance can be anywhere between those two extremes, and there's not just one way back to balance. And so I always welcome the opportunity to talk to a Rotary Club, and here's why. Rotary Clubs across the province and across the country are composed of community leaders. People, even if you don't hold a formal office like me and Don, people look up to members of the Rotary Club. You come from a wide range of backgrounds and experiences and businesses and public service. And I need you to help me to know what it is that you want from your government. It's not my money, it's your money. It's not my public services, it's yours. And your provincial government delivers four main things. We deliver a healthcare system, we deliver an education system, we provide support for the poor and disabled, and we build and maintain roads. That's where almost all of your tax money goes, those four things. And I need to hear from you about how it is that you want us to provide those services and at what price. And this year, we have an innovative new way of engaging the public. And Josh, my assistant, I think has handed out to you these business cards. And there's two sides to it, and one is the Back to Balance website, backtobalance.ca, and there's a simulation of a budget which is detailed enough to be meaningful, but not so detailed as to be discouraging. We think most people can work their way through it in 15 to 20 minutes to tell us what you want us to do on the revenue side, what you want us to do on the expenditure side, and the results from this website are going to form the backbone of the budget that I deliver during the first week of April. And I really encourage you, as thoughtful, engaged leaders in your community, to visit this website. And if you find it interesting, to tell others about it. Your family, your friends, your customers, your co-workers, whatever it may be. This is going to be the centerpiece of this year's budget, which is your money, your public services, your community. And the other side is another website that we've established, what we call the online forum, which if enough people sign up for it, then we will use it in order to ask questions and get feedback from the public. It has features of an opinion poll without being an opinion poll. It has features of a focus group without being a focus group. Right now, the only organization in government that uses it is the Nova Scotia Liquor Corporation, of which I'm also the minister. It's all revenue, so drink up. And they have, believe it or not, 18,000 people signed up to give them instantaneous feedback on things having to do with liquor in the province. And we're trying to recreate the own thing for budget matters and otherwise, and that's the other side of the card, forumns.ca. I wanted to leave a few time for any questions or comments that you may have, but let me close by repeating that whenever a Rotary Club offers me the privilege of speaking to you, I always take it gladly and very quickly, because Rotary has been good for me for the reasons I told you about in my life, and wherever I go, Rotary Clubs are leaders. For those of you who are members already, thank you for the work that you do in your communities. And for those of you who are here thinking about joining, I would say it's a really good idea. It's a really great organization. Thank you very much.